Hi, everybody. Welcome to Youth Move Virginia's Young Adult Online Retreat. My name is Paige Long. I am so happy to welcome you here. This year, retreat looks a little bit different for us. Usually, we are meeting all together in person for a day of bonding and learning together. But given kind of the things that are going on with public health right now, we knew that this was the right decision to keep everyone safe and healthy. What's great about being online and putting all of our retreat content on Facebook this year is that it's now more accessible and viewable to so many more people who would not have been able to attend the retreat in person. So please like, comment, engage with what we're posting today. And share with anyone who you think should see the stuff that we're putting online. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started with my presentation, getting a seat at the table, finding and creating spaces to advocate for ourselves and our communities. Like I said, my name is Paige Long. I'm very happy to be with you today. I am an advisory board member of Youth Move Virginia, which is kind of how I'm involved here. You may have seen me on the Facebook page before. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, a little bit about me. My name is Paige Long. I am 24 years old, living in Richmond, Virginia. I have lived experience in the mental health care system that I'll talk about in a little bit. I've been involved with NAMI, specifically NAMI Virginia, since 2015, so it's been a great 5 years so far. I'm a former member of NAMI on campus at Christopher Newport University. I did graduate in 2018. And today I am a member of the NAMI Virginia Board of Directors, as well as the Youth Move Virginia Advisory Board. I don't want this to be completely information-based and formal, so I did include some fun facts here. I was born in Germany. I am an only child, and my favorite color is purple. So if you want to share with me where you were born, how many siblings you have, and what your favorite color is, I would love that. All right, so let's keep going. A little bit of background. Like I mentioned, I have lived experience with mental health and the mental health care system. I received my first diagnoses at age 13, although I think that things kind of started with me at age 11 when I went to middle school. I really kind of withdrew from friends and family. I noticed a lot of fatigue, a lot of depressed mood, some kind of scary thoughts that I hadn't had before. I felt really lonely. I had trouble making friends. And so those were kind of my warning signs back during that period of time. It wasn't until 2 years later that I did go and seek some help for some of these symptoms that I was having, as well as some more kind of alarming symptoms that came up a little bit later. I got those diagnoses. I started receiving mental health care treatment from a counselor as well as a psychiatrist. And I kind of navigated high school figuring out how to balance mental health with, transitioning to high school, interacting with friends and family, not really talking about what was going on with me and being open and communicative about it. I was dealing with the stress of school. I was in a lot of AP classes, a lot of advanced classes that were really stressful. And I was also involved in things extracurricularly. So I had a lot going on. It wasn't until college, though, that I really got involved in mental health care advocacy. I was a transfer student my sophomore year of college. I went to Christopher Newport University in Newport News, transferred in as a sophomore, and immediately became involved with NAMI on campus. I found them at the club fair that year, very shortly after I got on campus, and knew, number one, as a psychology major, but number two, as somebody who has lived experience with mental health and the mental health care system, that I really liked NAMI and wanted to be involved in them with them at college. So I joined. I had a great first semester. I learned a lot. I made friends within the club, and I actually decided to go ahead and run for executive office. I ended up getting elected as vice president as my first kind of leadership role in NAMI on campus, which was a big step for me, but a really exciting step too. So I really kind of dove headfirst into event planning, managing a club. This was a really great experience for me and for the club to kind of make mental health a topic on campus. We were great with increasing engagement. We watched the club really grow during my time there. Shortly after I became vice president, actually, our president left for the Disney College program, and I became president. So it was a lot going on at one time, but it was a really big kind of passion project for me to work on NAMI on campus. It was a way where I could channel my stress and my passion into something kind of tangible that I saw happening on campus. We got a lot of conversations going. We had a lot of great club meetings and events where students really started talking about this topic that, is still very stigmatized, still very hush hush. And so it was great to have people open up, to get them involved, to show them the kinds of advocacy opportunities that are available to them, even as a college student. So that was a really great experience. And I really credit that with kind of the start of my advocacy. And that's where I really learned my advocacy skills and that I could really make a difference in my community. So it's a little hidden behind my preview up here, but this side of the screen says getting my seat. So now I want to transition from my background to talking more about how I really have gotten a seat at the table over the past several years. So when I became president of NAMI on campus, I really wanted to make meaningful change on campus. I was hearing from students about certain gaps in care, just certain issues that they were really struggling with regarding their mental health and wanting to be heard on campus, wanting to be seen, wanting some policies to be changed. So I actually worked with the student government to go ahead and create what we called the Mental Health Commission. So that was just kind of a task force that student government had within itself. And people like me, like president of NAMI at CNU and a couple of other key mental health related organizations were appointed to that commission to talk about what student government itself could do to help with mental health on campus. So tangibly, that looked like having a mental health awareness week, creating regular events about mental health, mentioning mental health a lot during student government meetings, which any student on campus could attend, and making partnerships with other student organizations to create mental health related events on campus. Then, shortly after that was created, CNU itself created the Mental Health Advisory Board, in which members of actually university administration, as well as, the president of NAMI at CNU, the head of the diversity initiative at CNU. Key players like that met regularly every few weeks to discuss how we could change policy at CNU to better accommodate students' mental health. So it was really great to see that happening in front of me and to really be part of that. So I think with those experiences, my role with NAMI on campus was really important. But again, it all started with conversations that I was having with student government, as well as other key student organizations. It really took those conversations and kind of that networking to show others on campus that, hey, I'm kind of seeing a couple issues. I'm hearing about them from other students. What can we do? And so it was a lot of brainstorming and a lot of work that went into creating these, but we really got to see those tangible differences on campus, the actions that we actually created. So second, I also went to a training shortly after I became president of NAMI on campus. It was the Living Works Safe Talk training. That is a suicide intervention training. It's a 3-hour training, and it's really meant for people to learn how to ask people if they're thinking about suicide, and what to do, how to keep that person safe for now. So I went to that training and I thought, oh my gosh, I haven't heard of anything like this at CNU. Um, like I said, I was a psychology major. I was president of this club. I really paid attention to campus announcements and what other clubs were doing, and what the psychology and social work departments were doing. And I had never heard of, at least during my time there, us doing any kind of mental health related training for students themselves. I heard a little bit about um, stuff covered in the RA trainings, but not specifically for the greater student body. And so I was going through this training that day, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, we need this. We need this on campus, because the research really shows us that students, young people, are more likely to confide in other young people way before they will confide in adults or professionals. And so, if we can create kind of a front line of defense on campus, then we can really save some students' lives. So after I had that training, I went back to campus and thought, all right, this is the time we're going to do this. So I talked to NAMI on campus, the other executive board members, and they agreed that this was a really great need and that we could kind of spearhead this effort. So first, I went to Student Assembly, the student government organization, and they have a way where you can apply for a grant. It's a grant application process. You fill out an application to explain what you're trying to do on campus, why you need a grant, what kind of funding you need, what that funding looks like, and what your desired results are for this funding and for whatever you're trying to put on. So I completed and submitted the application for funding for 3 of these trainings, or excuse me, 2 of these trainings. And I was extremely pleased to actually receive that funding. Student Assembly was really excited for this. It was going to be the first ever kind of suicide related training on campus. And so I was thrilled for this opportunity. So I got the funding. I did all of kind of the event planning, found a local trainer in the Hampton Roads area who was licensed to do this training, certified to do this training for us, figured out when and where we were going to hold it, booked the rooms, and then made a bunch of flyers to advertise this training. So the max that the training can hold is 30 people. And so we did have both sessions booked out. 60 people, more than 60 people signed up, but we could only have 60 between the two. And so what I actually did was I went ahead and created a survey that I had people fill out before they left the training at the end of the day to kind of gauge from participants, from our students, did you like this training? Did you find it helpful? Did you learn something? And if we brought it back, do you think that you have a friend that you would recommend this training to, or who would be interested in this training? So I had overwhelmingly positive feedback from that survey from students who took the training and said, yeah, bring this back. I also got some really great feedback that, they were really grateful to have taken the training, that they saw themselves taking what they learned and applying it in their lives. And this was especially helpful for psychology and social work majors who are really getting ready to do this work after graduation. So with that survey, I took those results and actually had meetings with university administration to say, look at how great this was. It's definitely a need in our community, especially with the feedback that I received. And can we talk about bringing this back and getting additional funding? And so I'm really glad that I did that survey and collected those responses, because university administration was actually very responsive and pulled together some funding for us to continue the training the following semester. So with that experience in particular, I think a lot of kind of the success behind that was number one, my advocacy. I really talked about this need that I saw. I brought together anecdotal data, qualitative data from things that I had heard on campus from other students, and kind of demonstrated the need in my additional or in my first grant application to student assembly. And then my organization skills, my forward thinking skills in putting together that survey, that data was really helpful in going to the administration and requesting additional funding. I think that is really what helped kind of get that funding for us to do more of this work on campus. And then lastly, after graduation, I joined NAMI Virginia's board of directors. I was 21 at the time, and I actually became the youngest ever member on their board. My senior year of college at CNU, I got the NAMI email that said, we're looking for members for our board. And I thought, why not? My time at CNU is coming to an end. My time with NAMI on campus is coming to an end. This is a way that I can not only stay involved and keep advocating, keep being involved in NAMI, but also I can represent the voice of young Virginians on the board by being the youngest member. So I went ahead and I applied, I interviewed, and I ended up becoming elected and earning a spot on the board. And so there, I really want to emphasize that I really just shot my shot. It was really just me shooting my shot. I saw an opportunity that was open. I thought, why not? I kind of really saw the value that I would bring as a young person on the board. And I really emphasized that during my interview for the position. And so it was wonderful that my interviewer was very excited about the opportunity of bringing a young person on the board. And so that's really how that opportunity came up for me. And I really just kind of took it and ran with it. All right. So now we're kind of going to transition a little bit from my experience to you and your experience. So here are some ideas for where you can find or create a seat at the table. So I want to emphasize here that it's not just about finding a seat that's open, it's also about making a seat. I think as young people, we really can become discouraged with people who are older than us for maybe leaving us out of conversations. And so it really is up to us to say, hey, I deserve to be here. Young people deserve to be here and have a voice too. And to really advocate for yourself and your community in that way. So like I said, I helped create task forces at CNU that weren't there before. So you can definitely create things. And I also want to emphasize here that it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be a big thing like being on a task force. It can be small and it can be in your own life. So starting at the individual level, you can create a seat at home with your own family. You can make sure that your voice is heard at home at the dinner table with your family. You can make sure that your voice is heard with your teachers and professors. If there's something that they can do differently to better support you, let them know, tell them, speak up. At your medical and mental health appointments, you as the healthcare recipient have the right to have your voice heard, to have your voice be an important part of your treatment making decisions and treatment planning between you and your doctor. So speak up at your appointments, let them know what you think about what they're suggesting for you, let them know what you think would work best for you, even if it's something that they haven't mentioned yet. Definitely make your voice heard there. And then I also included at your school's disability accommodations office. If you have a disability and you require an accommodation at school, at work, anywhere, speak up with the office. Make an appointment with the office, find out what the process is, and be an active participant in that conversation to make sure that you can get accommodations to make you succeed in school or in the workplace. Now, switching gears to the community level, where you can find and create a seat there. You can find and create a seat at local community and town hall meetings, in task forces at school, work, or in your community, on nonprofit boards, just like I did, and with your local, state, and national legislators. Remember that you are an important player just because you have your experience and you can see the needs in yourself and in your community. And so talk to your representatives, write to them, call their offices, ask them to support or vote against a bill that will do something for you or your community. And so next year, we're going to talk about what we need to find, create, and use our seat. So I've got 4 things here that we're just going to breeze through real quick. The first is connections, and you can create connections by networking. Know who is doing what and how your work fits in with that. So is there another club? Is there another person that you know of? Is there another group that is doing something very similar to what you're doing or trying to do? And you guys can kind of team up and make a team effort in going after the goal that you see. The next is advocacy. If you see a need, speak up. You see it, you've experienced it. You need to tell others because others don't necessarily see or experience that need too. Now here you need to use your connections to advocate for the gaps that you see in your community. And so that goes back up to connections and making sure that you advocate to team up with others and use your connections and your networking skills to team up and create a bigger team for what you're working for. The next is experience. We advocate best when we have firsthand experience. When you can go and you can tell a story about how somebody didn't give you what you needed, about how a policy did not accommodate you, about how a certain practice needs to be changed to make what your experience was better for the people who come behind you. We as humans really attach ourselves to stories. Stories are really meaningful when talking to legislators, when talking to elected officials, and when talking to each other. And so if you can talk about a specific story, a specific experience that you had, people really latch on to that and connect with that a lot better. And so we learn to advocate best by touching on those experiences and really painting a picture for this happened to me and this is why this needs to change. And lastly, others. There is power in numbers. This goes back to connections. More people illustrates a greater need. And so it is wonderful if you can team up with somebody else or at least have some people behind you. Now, this whole process of finding, creating a seat at the table, it can be intimidating. I was really intimidated as a college student in kind of advocating for myself and carving these seats out for myself. So make sure that whether you have a team of people behind you or not, that you also have a support system who's cheering you on. You need somebody to call with every success or failure that you have during this process so that you can kind of debrief and really have those people in your corner who are saying, come on, like keep going. Great. So now it's your turn. So I want you, a couple takeaways that I want you to think about now after my presentation. First, where can you find and create a seat at the table? Where in your community can you really do this and take this turn and go ahead and go for it? And then second, how can you use your strengths and your lived experience to advocate for yourself and your community? Now, here at Youth Move Virginia, we are always looking for new advisory board members. So you can always get involved with us. We are always accepting applications for you to join us, be part of the board, and help us spearhead a lot of the advocacy opportunities that we have here in the state. And then additionally, we are always sharing advocacy opportunities when we find them. So If you are interested in learning about how to advocate at the General Assembly, how to contact your representatives, what kind of bills are coming through to talk to your representatives about, we're always trying to share those opportunities, because we know that the more of us who contact our representatives about those bills, the more our voice is heard, and the more likely they are to vote for or against a bill based on what we're saying and what we're sharing with them. So if you're interested in getting involved with Youth Move Virginia, whether that's joining our advisory board or just signing up for our email list to learn more about our advocacy opportunities, please contact Sophie. I have included her email address right here on the screen. It is sfontaine, SFONTAINE at NAMIVirginia.com. And that's how you can really get involved with us, either tangibly on the board or by engaging in the advocacy opportunities that we share. So that is all I have for you today. Stay tuned on our Facebook page. Today we're going to be posting a lot of content today for the retreat. You'll be able to hear a little later on from Danielle Davis, who is going to speak more about NAMI on Campus chapters and how you can bring NAMI on campus and make a difference with NAMI on campus at your school. And then on September 24th at 6:30 p.m., me and Danielle will be live on Facebook to answer any questions that you may have about our presentations today. Make sure that you like our Facebook page so that you can get our updates today and every day. We are always posting content here, as well as on Instagram. Just search for Youth Move Virginia and you will find us. So thank you so much for joining me. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I hope to see you on November 24th. All right, thanks.